lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, welcome everybody. This is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. And just look at all that stuff. Now this is a man's version. That's right, men only. You know I can't keep that up for long. I'm just joking, but kind of in honor of Father's Day last Sunday, here's a little sampling of, you know, what people think of as like mantiques, you know, man stuff. No frilly doilies and Pyrex dishes here. Now look, don't send me hate mail. I'm just teasing. I admit, I've been known to scream like a middle school girl at the sight of a pink Pyrex gooseberry casserole with lid. So you know I'm just teasing. But I do want to show you some things that I picked up recently for resale, and some of the other things are actually part of my own collection and they're not for sale. So the music we started out with is called The Runaway Train by Vernon Dalhart, recorded in 1925. And the reason I started out with The Runaway Train, I'm kind of teasing you here. Take a good look at this. You won't see it again until Christmas time. Now I actually have 6 houses, a bridge, and a train station. And this is part of the collection that came down in my family. My father's old Lionel train set, which he received either in 1949, 1950, or 51. I have it now. And of course I played with it as a kid with my dad and with my grandfather, so lots of family memories. And this is just one of the houses. The houses are older. They really date to probably around 1935 or 33 from the Depression era. So I'm not sure how they got matched up with a circa 1950 Lionel train, but they're all in original condition. And I'm not going to talk too much about that. Just wanted to tease you with that and give you something to look forward to, I hope, for next Christmas when the whole train set gets set up with all of the lights and the moving parts, and it's really going to be cool. These right here belonged to my grandfather, so these are not for sale. This is a Barrow pocket knife. And, you know, men carried pocket knives. I'm not sure what he ever did with it, but that actually sells online for about 25 bucks. But to me, it's priceless. This is a wallet from 1953, and I'm not sure if it was ever used. It might have been given as a gift and then just put into a drawer. We know it's from 1953 because there's a calendar on the inside, and it's got 1953 in it. So a cool man's wallet with a little zipper in it that says Genuine Morocco. Again, pretty certain that wallet has never been used. 2 spoons. Now what's masculine about a spoon? Well, they're presidential. You know who those 2 folks are? Do you recognize, sorry for the jiggling, there's Herbert Hoover on the, I guess would be, well, I don't know if that's going to be your right or your left, but he's the guy right there that doesn't look very happy. And he was president from, oh my goodness, let's see, he was elected in 28 and he served until 32, if I remember. And prior to him was Calvin Coolidge. Is this Calvin? Yes, this is Calvin Coolidge. And there's this whole presidential set of these spoons. I don't think they're worth much, but they are just something that I happen to have. Now this I just picked up for $15, and I am psyched about this. This is a 1929 Bell & Howell 16mm movie camera. As I said, I paid $15 for it. When you look at these online, they sell anywhere from 30 bucks to 230 bucks. It really depends on the condition, what lenses are present, and I'm not an expert on these, so this one's going to go up for sale, and we'll see what the collectors want to pay for it. I'll add on the end of this video maybe a little bit of footage I took. I did some exploratory surgery, opened it up, made one little repair, which was easy to make, but also discovered what is not working on it. Give you a little bit of a better look of it. It's heavy, so I'm not gonna do too much with it. Absolutely, I love this. 1929. It was really the 1930 model, but released in 1929. In December of 1929. So anyway, I'll talk more about that in the footage at the end if you're interested. And then back here, I'm gonna have to move some stuff. Well, let's go over here first. This is a 1960s SO XO Fire King mug from the gas station. And even without the tiger on there, if you were to turn the mug in that direction, oh, you see I paid $2. Actually, I paid $1. It was half price. These sell for about $5 or $6. And I just bought this a couple days ago for $1. It's the first one I've ever had. Back when gas stations actually gave stuff away. Okay, this is from, these were, and I know you can't see this very well because it doesn't really show up with all the stuff in the back. It's large. It was made, these were extremely popular home decor items from, I'll say, the early 20s up to about 1930. When you look at magazines and furniture advertisements, you'll see these galleon, they were referred to as Spanish galleon ships. And they would be ship models. They would sit on the top of bookcases or floor model radios. It was a novelty item, but hugely popular in the 20s. This one, although it looks kind of ratty, is actually in fantastic condition. You can imagine these things don't hold up, and you rarely find them intact like this. It's a light. There's the light bulb down in there. And you can see it, when the lights are out, it looks really neat because it glows through, let's see if you can see it any better. See, it glows through those red windows. Anyway, you know, this doesn't have a lot of value. This would really be cool for somebody who is trying to do an authentic 1920s interior because it's just, everybody had one. Just give you a look at the detail on it. This has been sitting in somebody's attic for years and years. It's not for sale. I do actually have it on a bookcase and it is displayed and used, but I wanted to show it to you because they just don't show up too much. So we will sail him out of the way and we'll talk about some radios real quickly. This is, bear with me for a second. This is about 1962. I just bought it. I paid $10 for it. It's a Lafayette audio generator, which it does produce audio, tones, sounds, frequencies, and it's a piece of test equipment. My uncle did a lot of ham radio years ago, and of course I remember equipment like this in his basement. I'm not an expert on this kind of thing. It does have value to the radio collectors and the ham folks. So this is going to go online, and I'm really not sure what the value of it is, but it's the kind of thing that I look for because I know that they're sought after. Alright, so that tobacco tin I think you've seen before, so we'll move that out of the way. And I'm gonna, oh, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Woo, woo, there's no place like home, there's no place. It's alright. Alright. So back here real quick are 3 radios, and they are sort of, well, let's see. All right, let's get this all out of the way. This one, can you tell which one is the oldest? Curtain number 1, number 2, or number 3? Which radio is the oldest? is this bad boy right here. This is a 1932, what's called the Kennedy Cosmopolitan. Let me move in and show you the detail. This, by the way, is false graining. This is paint. If anybody tried to strip this, it would all come off. Wooden knobs. You can see here where it's worn away from years of hands turning it. Original knobs, original dial, original grill cloth. This is considered in fantastic condition. And it is, the model is the Cosmopolitan. Made by the Colin B. Kennedy Company. Colin B. Kennedy was a Canadian young man, got excited with radio, had a company, made radios here in the US, went out of business in 1933. So these aren't rare, but they're hard to find. They don't turn up very often. This is about the best condition you would ever find one of these in. And I'm not saying that because I have it. I've been messing with old radios for a long time, and even if there are issues with it playing, it's the originality of it and the fact that the cosmetic condition of it is vital. Old radios always need work. Paper capacitors wear out, and tubes blow. So antique radios always need some kind of electronic work done on them. But the original cosmetic condition is what is the most important. So that's 1932. Notice the cathedral style was popular. As we get into the mid to late 30s, the cathedral starts to go away. We have just a hint of it here. This is actually called a tombstone radio because it looks like a tombstone and not as much as a cathedral. So here we're talking RCA. This is about 1938. Again, original condition, beautiful grill cloth, wonderful finish. And finally over here, this is 1945, right at the end of World War II, the end of the Deco period, but you still see that waterfall design. And I love the little floating circle for the dial. Okay, let's talk value. All three of these radios are in excellent condition. Excellent, original, unmonkeyed, unaltered condition. That's key. Now, forget whether they play music or not. We'll talk about that in a second. This one, not a lot of value, probably 50 bucks, maybe 60 because of its condition. This one, probably 350 because of its awesome condition. This one is a pretty common set, but again, its condition is fantastic. Probably $100 to $150. It just depends on your collectors. Now, if you're selling an old radio, now I know the radio collectors are probably going to get mad at me, but don't let someone talk you into giving a radio away because it doesn't work. People always ask, does it work? Does it work? Well, they all work to an extent, but old radios need repair. For instance, when I plug this in and turn it on, you get a loud hum. That hum is from the old electrolytic capacitors, which dry out. They have to be replaced. Doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but that doesn't mean that the radio is worthless. This one needs a little bit of work. It does okay. And this one over here also needs some electronic work. But let me show you the back of it. And then we'll plug this one in and fire it up so you at least see what it's like to fire up an old radio. Now, I will say, and I forgot to mention, the one thing with this is we don't have an original speaker. The speaker has been replaced. That's going to hurt it. It doesn't hurt it tremendously. It's not horrible that the old speaker isn't there, but that's going to knock a few bucks off of it. So let me... Ooh, excuse me. Let me turn off the music over here, and then I'm gonna plug this guy in and let's just see what it does. Turn that light off. You know how much I love these plugs. and this cord is good. I don't necessarily advise that an amateur plugs in these old radios. Most collectors would rather that you didn't. All right, so we're plugged in, and let's go up front and turn this guy on, which I've just done. Now watch as the tubes begin to light up as they heat up. You see they begin to glow. This over here is... Yeah, the reason it's doing that, this is the ground, which should be attached to, in the old days they would attach the ground to like a cold water pipe. This is an antenna, so you can see if I grab the end of it, my body is acting as the antenna. And we're picking up a Spanish broadcasting station. Let's turn it back around. Just to give you an idea what it looks like from the front.
Domingo 24 de julio, Parada San Juan Bautista, Wiggins Waterfront Park, en Camden, New Jersey. Te invita Univisión 65, el comité de la Parada San Juan Bautista.
And this is a tone control here, which needs to be cleaned, and then this is your dial right here for the different stations, which you can't really see because I have the light on. Let me turn this off. Hold on for a second. All right, we're back with the lights off to give you an idea of what it looks like at night. And the reason I'm not picking anything up is because I don't have the antenna hooked up. So without the antenna hooked up, you're really not going to hear anything. Okay, so there are 3 old radios. I hope you liked my Mantique version of the old Curiosity Shop. And stay tuned at the end of the video if you want to see a little bit of the inside of the film projector. And why is a can of chunky baked beans and pulled pork sitting back there? Because that's what I'm having for dinner. Because that's what men eat. They eat beans and pigs. All right, I promise the next video we'll have lots of pink Pyrex. All right, everybody. This is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying thanks for watching and so long for now. Okay, this is a close-up look of the 1929-1930 Bell & Howell Model 70 16mm movie camera. I've done a little diagnostic explorational surgery on this guy, and I want to show you what one thing I fixed and one thing I discovered that I have no intentions of fixing. So bear with me as I hold this camera, both cameras, and try to show you what's going on. So this is the casing on the back, which I took off, and I've spent about an hour and a half on this. I'll zoom in here and show you just how amazing the precision is, and the engineering and the machined pieces in this thing are incredible. These screws are tiny. There are 2 of them that I haven't put back in yet. And just to show you, this is sort of a standard, like, household size screwdriver. And I'm using these little guys. So you can see that these are tiny. It's a good thing I have my progressive eyeglasses on. Anyway, what I found out was, back on this side, here is the exposure adjuster knob right here. And we go all the way from 8 exposures to 64. You know those old films, you've all seen those old films, like especially those World War I military films where the soldiers are parading down a broad avenue and it looks like they're marching at breakneck speed. That has something to do with the exposures per second and also the playback speed. But this was not working. Once I got it opened, I was able to find that. Let me try to get a better light for you. And again, this screw right here had fallen out and was floating around inside of the casing. So I was able to find that screw, put it back in. Now, I haven't oiled this yet, but it's now functioning as it should. I can adjust. You'll see how this works. I'm turning from the other side to adjust the exposures per second, frames per second, and very easy repair, no big deal. Now what I did find out is that the mainspring on this is broken. So if I flip it back over, you know, these don't run off of electricity or batteries. The mainspring, which is housed inside of this casing, is broken, and it would be a spring similar to a spring found in like an 8-day mantle clock. So we can still crank it. This is the equivalent of cranking a clock or winding a clock, but the crankshaft isn't, there's no tension. We're not winding a spring at all, and so when we press the release button, this should unwind and nothing's happening. That's because the big spring is broken. Not a huge deal. That spring can be replaced. I'm not going to do it. That I'm going to leave to someone who might restore this camera to a functioning camera or use it for parts. Just give you a closer look if it will focus for me. And again, this was released in December, or I've seen advertisements of it from November, December of 1929, and it's actually a 1930 model camera. So we'll go ahead and put the spool back in, these last couple of screws, get the back on it, and get some pictures of it and get it up for sale. Thanks for watching. I've got to get back to work. So long for now.